Dunn and John Miller. Their commitment and service to the Academy is beyond what we could ever say. Appreciate them. Our continuing board members will be Ms. Ann Watanabe, April Gamansky, myself, Ms. Madigan, and Karen Zolli. This year, there are 7 seats available. We'll have 3 teacher seats and 4 parent/community member seats. I want to take a moment to explain that because it's a slight change from what it's been in the past. With the parent/community member seats, our bylaws state that we need to have at least 1 from each of those categories. So that could be 1 community member and 3 parents. It could be 1 parent and 3 community members. It could also be 2 of each. So really, it's just the election results that will determine that. I want to take a moment for the candidates to introduce themselves. So if you could please introduce your name and your role in the school, whether it be parent, community member, or teacher.
I'm Manisha Dape, and I'm a parent of a 3rd grader and a kindergarten spot.
I am Tiffany Gedgen. I am an upper school math teacher.
Ken Greeter, he's been on the board for the last 3 years as a community member. Nick Henry, on the community board.
Erica Higgins. I teach manual orchestra at the upper school.
Pete Larson, I have 4 kids at the school, a senior, a junior, a freshman, and a 7th grader, and I've been serving the board for 6 years.
Michelle Mills, kindergarten teacher.
Kathy Oberstar, parent and current treasurer of the board. I've been on the board 1 year, and I have a 7th grader and a 5th grader.
Katie Tram, I have a 1st grader and a 7th grader, and I'm a parent at Eagle Ridge.
I'm William Wood. I have 2 kids here as well. I have a 2nd grader and a 4th grader.
Skills and background knowledge that we do value as a board in our elected members. So as you are considering your members or your candidates for this evening, I'd like you to keep in mind these qualifications. Development and fundraising, marketing, public relations, advertising, facilities management, and or commercial real estate, banking, financials, accounting, nonprofit management, human resources or benefits, legal and governance, education, and obviously our commitment to classical education. So in advance of the forum, the candidates did receive 3 questions to pre-prepare their answers. We will begin with all 10 candidates having 1 minute to respond to each of those questions. We will start with the first. Everyone will respond, and then we'll move to questions 2 and 3. April Grbansky, Ann Watanabe will be the timekeeper. Each candidate will have 1 minute, so please keep an eye on Ann. She'll let you know when you need to cut yourself off. April Grbansky will be collecting cards, so there are index cards and pens over on the table. If you want to submit questions of your own, you may certainly do that. Write that on the card. April Grbansky will come and collect them. So let's get started with our questions. The first question, what about Eagle Ridge Academy's mission is most important to you?
So like one of the things that I'm really passionate about is is the education for the child. Like what kind of knowledge do they have, and I think classical education provides that rounded kind of knowledge for the kids. So one of the key things that I like about Eagle Ridge is their ability to instill the love for learning. I think that's the biggest thing about Eagle Ridge. Today we have many options in the schooling environment, and I call them like figures of the week. Like there's STEM program, there's Navigator program, there's Gifted program. But the big thing about this school is making sure that you are kind of taking kids to their academic potential. I mean, every kid is considered to have some potential, and then we try to reach that potential. We're not looking for only the highest and the bottommost kids and trying to stress and educate them, but we're looking at every child with the potential and trying to achieve it.
The big thing that I really like about Eagle Ridge Academy's mission is the classical education and continuing to grow upon the classical education. I think that's very important. I did the classical 101 last spring and just learning more about classical education and the types of classical education are out there. And I do strongly believe in the classical education. I came here 4 years ago, and I've really enjoyed working here for a classical school after working in public education for a few years.
I think that basically the thing that impresses me the most about Eagle Ridge is the balance that we have, between the classical education, which of course is a new experience for most of the people that are coming in, particularly in earlier grades and even some of the higher grades. So the ability of the school to balance out the backgrounds of the students coming in to bring them into a classical education, which I think is very, very important because it not only teaches people certain things, it teaches them a well-rounded, balanced approach. And the rigor is something that I really like, and I think it's important for students to be challenged.
Well, I think we're all going to have something to say about classical education because this is one of the few schools in the state that focuses on classical education. And that impresses me a lot. I mean, I have friends who have kids that go to this school. And when I hear about the things that these kids are learning, I think about what I was learning at that age, and it just baffles me that these kids are learning the same thing. The focus on the liberal arts education, I think, is very important because one thing I learned from my own liberal arts education that I got in college was that it teaches you to think. And that's really important, much more than being able to learn is important, but being able to think about what you've learned is equally important because that's how you really process what you're taking in and are able to make an intelligent decision based on it. And like I said, I learned that in college, and these kids are doing it in second and third grade, and I think that really just impressive and makes me want to be part of the school.
I took a literal stance to it. I think the phrase demanding their best in academic achievement is most important to me, just because it gives a very accurate picture of the expectations that we have for our students. We ask our students to rise to extraordinary levels, and the best part is that they reach it. I find comfort in knowing that I am able, almost expected, to keep that bar high in my own classroom and for my own teaching.
I hate to echo here, but the classical education is obviously, for me, is the biggest draw. It's what I'm most passionate about for Eagle Ridge. And I want to read just a quick excerpt from the book that we're reading right now and tell you why. It says, the aim of a classical education, the formation of a mature person who loves inquiry, that reaches into earthly as well as transcendent realms of knowledge, who makes a connection between this knowledge and his responsibilities in the life of virtue, and who struggles against long odds to fulfill in himself the high exigencies of the ideal type. When I read that, that's exactly why we're here. That's what excitement of Eagle Ridge. It's we can produce students, adults like this. We'll blow the doors off any type of education in the state.
Well, I think the proper formation of the child's behaviors and attitudes really help for our students in their academic achievements. That is a solid foundation in what Eagle Ridge and that the children can actually achieve their highest potential, not only academically, but intellectually, spiritually, humanly, and socially. So I think that we do here at Eagle Ridge Academy take it very serious that we have a responsibility in assisting parents in supporting our students to be exemplary future citizens. Like Ms. Higgins, I looked at literally the kind of the last phrase in the mission statement about challenging their students to not only attain their best in academic achievement, but the behavior and the attitude. That's where the virtue comes in. I think they need the academics to learn them some facts that will lead them to wisdom, but ultimately it's about virtue. It's about how do they behave, what do they contribute to the world. I'm just passionate that this school is excited about more than just filling our kids' heads with facts, but it's also helping them to think, to shuffle through those facts, and to apply them to do some good in their own lives and in the world.
Wow, that's going to be hard to follow. I'm not going to reiterate the mission and the vision of what Jason just read out, but to me what it means in terms of the supporting the Eagle Ridge mission and vision, providing that solid world-class education to prepare our students for a successful future as leaders as well. I think that through seeing the daily interactions that the teachers have and the staff and the support and the love that they have in just their passion of teaching itself is important here at Eagle Ridge, and I see that every day. What I would like to see as well is moving forward, if we could bring Eagle encourage to a point where parents, when their child is done with a class or that year, that the achievements that they felt in their child, they would be more than willing to nominate that teacher for Teacher of the Year. I is where we would like to see.
Being last is tough. I'm echoing, I think, a lot of the things that have already been said. To me, what's most important about the mission is both the emphasis on academic rigor. It's not explicitly mentioned in the mission, but it's explicitly mentioned in the vision. And also the combination of the values. So in other words, not just the learning, but applying the learning through the values to become better citizens. So again, I apologize for echoing what you said, but that's